Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon if you guys want to support the channel. But if you guys just want to subscribe to get notified about weekly Miraculous Ladybug videos, you guys can do that. 2 this week, actually, because we did our reaction, and now we're doing this. So, I guess I'll start, with my thoughts. I was saying this in my reaction video, but I'm very surprised that Miraculous Ladybug Season 3, started as soon as it did. Does that make sense? Right? And so I was saying that in my reaction. I was like, oh, we should have, a conversation, we should talk about it, right? Because I think it's, an interesting sort of topic. Does that make sense? It's an interesting sort of discussion topic, because I want to see, I guess, where everybody else stands on this, because here's how I feel about it first. I feel like there needs to be space in between seasons to build up hype. What's the point of having a season finale if you're just gonna start back up next week again? Does that make sense? Because for me, okay, so with Ruby, for example, right? That's what's going on right now, Ruby, right? Ruby, starts in October, okay, we finish, at the end of January, right? And then there's 6 months, and we have, 6 months to sort of, wait and discuss about last season, and, criticize last season, and make character analysis and videos, and, all that stuff, right? And we have all that time in the world to do that. And we have time to build hype, so they release trailers, and they release, other promo images to, yeah, guys, get hyped for this season, right? But with Miraculous, there is no, I feel like the hype is disjointed because you have a season finale, and it's building to that moment, and then it's okay, guys, well, season 3 starting next week. And I know it's not literally next week, I know that it's, a couple weeks, but even with that, I sort of have the feeling that I guess, of the opinion that a season finale and sort of, a season hiatus should be used to, make the show better, first of all, and then to build hype, right? To build hype for next season. And Miraculous doesn't necessarily have the most consistent schedule, so I don't know if season 3 was always supposed to start in December, and now they've just sort of rushed it because, okay, you know what? Our show was supposed to end in, June or July or whenever it was actually supposed to finish. Our show was supposed to end in August, let's say. Then it's, a 3-month gap, getting people hyped, and then, by Christmas, Miraculous Ladybug is back on, sort of thing. And they're just sticking to, the season 3 release schedule now because they have to, because they didn't finish on time, and so there was no room for a gap. I don't know how long the gap was between season 1 and season 2, and I see both sides, on one hand, right, people are gonna be I don't care, I want more Miraculous Ladybug, I don't care if there's gaps between seasons, right, I want a new episode, every week, and, I feel that because I really like this show, and I like having new episodes of this show, but I just feel the finale of a show should be sort of a big deal, but if it's not actually, done for a while, right, if it's not, it's not actually the finale of anything if you're just starting back up really soon, and also, I think that the other problem is, for me, I think that the start of a season and then the end of the season, and obviously the middle, right? It's beginning, middle, and end. If you guys have taken any English classes, that's the beginning, the climax is in the middle, and then the end and whatever. And so for me, right, the first episode of a new season, obviously the whole show should be good, ideally, but the first episode of a new season is gonna hook people in to say, oh yeah, I should keep watching this, right? And that the same as the finale, right? If we're building up to a hype finale, people are okay, I'm gonna keep watching until the hype finale and then sort of make my decision, right? So people basically keep them interested, don't drop the show. But I don't know if in hindsight, obviously while I was watching it, right, I enjoyed the first episode of season 3, I enjoyed it, but looking at it a couple days later, I'm is that really, I don't know, is that really hype? Was that really a hype first episode? Was that a strong start to the season? Because I would say not really. It establishes things, which is good. It establishes sort of what we can expect from a new season, right? Lila is back in school. She's sort of taking the place of Chloe, who used to be our resident mean girl, but she is less of our resident mean girl now, compared to Lila. And Lila, I think, has actually hypnotized people in the class, so to speak, right? People in the class actually like her, whereas I don't think anybody liked Chloe before. They just sort of listened to what she said because she was mean. Whereas Lila is, has a captivating personality that attracts people, and so people genuinely like her because she's putting on this facade. And so I like that difference, and I like all that, and sort of establishing, Marinette and Adrian's sort of position on things that are currently going on. But I think that could have been a second episode or a third episode, but I really think, like, I'm a strong believer in this. Like, first episode should start off with some sort of, like, bang, like, some sort of pop to make people go, like, oh yeah! Like, this is the show I was hyped waiting, like, 6 months or 3 months for, except it wasn't 6 or 3 months, because they started it a couple weeks later. And obviously, like, I like the show, I want, like, new episodes every week if they could feasibly do it, but, like, for a show that already has a questionable schedule, and possibly some questionable quality control when it comes to some episodes, right? And also a limited budget, because there were a lot of specials that were supposed to happen that got cut, right? There was, apparently, I hear about this on Tumblr a lot, there was a Chinese special, there was a Valentine's Day like, there were a bunch of specials that were supposed to happen that they got cut because of budget, but I'm like, if the budget is limited, why don't they wait? Like, why don't they wait a little bit first? And second, like, why don't they, you know, try to make the first episode at least the best episode that it can possibly be, which I don't think it necessarily was. Like, I think a lot of people did kind of come out of it a little disappointed. I don't feel that way. I'm just sort of, I don't know. And that's where I'm like, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys care? Do you guys think that there should be a gap? Because again, for me, like, when I look at something like this, I'm like, you know, the hype train can only go for so long. The great thing about things like RWBY is it's so condensed into these couple months that we have it that everybody is super hype all the way through, especially now because RWBY's, like, really good this season, right? Because they've taken the time and the resources to kind of make it the best that they can be, and I don't know if that's necessarily happening with Miraculous, right? And I don't think it should take a break if it doesn't need one, but I guess we can sort of, like, speculate on whether it needs one or not. Like, I think a lot of people think that it may, like, I don't know, like, again, I don't know their schedule, I don't know what contracts that they have, like, that they are beholden to. Maybe that they wanted to take a break afterwards, but they had no choice because they were already contracted to release season 3 at a certain time, like, with Disney Channel and whatever. Like, I don't know any of that, right? Because, like, the poor team behind Miraculous Ladybug, like, I can imagine if they, like, somehow were watching this, they would be like, well, it's not our fault, like, we wanted to wait, but, like, we have a contract, right? We just have to keep going. And I totally understand that, and so if it's not on them, that's where I'm like, because that's interesting, right? Like, that's sort of interesting to sort of find the inner workings of a company like that. And so I'm interested if anybody has sort of any info on that. Like, why is it coming out so soon? Why didn't they take a break after the season 2 finale? Is it because the episodes were delayed so much and there was originally supposed to be a gap? If anybody knows that, I'd love to hear about that. Do you guys think it was a strong start to the season? Do you guys care if the first episode of the season is, like, really hype? Or do you care about how the rest of the season goes? Do you think that Miraculous Ladybug is a special case because it's sort of one of those shows that has, I guess, a bad guy of the week sort of thing, and so not all the episodes necessarily need to be watched in, like, an order of, like, a chronological order, right? And so it doesn't really matter, like, if the first episode is, like, hype or not, because it's not sort of like, oh yeah, the first episode getting back into the plot, because, like, sometimes there sort of is, like, an overarching plot, but then, you know, there's just sort of the bad guy of the week thing. Like, what do you guys think? Because I see that argument. I could see someone say, well, Cal, like, you can watch the episodes in practically any order, like, with some stipulation, right? There are some episodes that clearly follow one after another, right? And so the first episode of the season doesn't really matter. The finale matters because it's wrapping up the overarching plot that you've developed over the season. But the first episode doesn't really matter because you can mix and match and make a different first episode anyway. Like, that was really my struggle when I was coming into the show, is Netflix had a different order than, like, you know, other websites, or the release schedule was just different. And so, like, Bubbler was sometimes listed as the first episode, sometimes it was Stormy Weather, sometimes it was, you know, and so you could make the argument, well, Cal, it doesn't really matter what the first episode is because it's not like, you're not, like, diving into the plot, like, it's not something like RWBY, right, where it's like, oh, the first episode has to be, like, super hyped because it has to get us excited for, like, the plot of this season, or, like, the arc of this season, whereas Miraculous, it's really a slow burn in terms of a overarching plot. Right? There are a couple episodes that are extremely plot heavy, but the other episodes serve to develop character relationships, and that's what this episode did with Adrian and Marinette and Lila and whatever. So this is just kind of like, I've said what I thought, right? And so this is really a discussion video in terms of you guys should give me your opinions and we can all talk, because like usually when I do Ruby discussions with Hunter, it's our discussion, but this is like our discussion. Does that make sense? So I want to hear from you guys. Like, do you guys care? Do you guys think it was too fast? Do you guys have any opinions? Do you guys agree, disagree with what I said? Just any of that. And I hope that you guys will subscribe to get weekly Miraculous videos, and I hope that you guys have a miraculous day. So I will see you later. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys would like to support the channel further, if you guys want to see us make more videos, if you guys want some cool, awesome rewards, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon. Patrons on Patreon have a variety of different rewards, so some of them are being able to request videos from us, so you could ask for a shipping video, a theory video, and we'll do it. Some of the rewards have to do with early access, so getting a video a week earlier, past a week early, and stuff like that, but the most important reward is getting access, at least I think it's the most important reward, access to our Discord server where you guys can talk and hang out with us. It's lots of fun, so I hope that if you guys want to support the channel, that is the route that you will take, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.